Good morning, everyone. Oh, I gotta get this centered here. We had a power outage. Big storm came through here. So I didn't even notice until the power went out. And then my grandson came and says, "Grousey, what happened?" And I said, "Well, let's go and have a look." And it was wild out here. I'm like, oh, okay. Lots and lots of people here lost power. One of my other daughters lives in the same town, didn't. So we ended up going over there and having a good time. And I did end up staying there, but I had not this with me because we were just going to go and have dinner, and then because the family here, they didn't even give it time when the power would be back on. So my daughter said, "Here's Mom, I think you should just stay. It'll be easier for you." And then they did their thing. Then eventually it took a couple of days, and yeah, it's interesting. It was interesting. As I said, it was no big deal, but so I'm back on now. I got my coffee going. I had my first date with all of the children here yesterday. Oh, minus one. My oldest granddaughter wasn't here yet. Oh, it's great. It was just all day long. It was just great fun. Great fun. And it's amazing when you just do things with children. They don't care about these children here. They don't have much when it comes to the electronic stuff, the games, this and that. They really don't. And they weren't interested much in the TV. So I thought that maybe during the day when it gets really hot and humid here, that we'll like have this siesta time where then they each get to choose something to watch or something. And it turned into a couple hours that I thought, turned into like an hour. They were just not interested enough. So we ended up doing all kinds of different things again. Spent most of the time outside because the weather is really great right now. And today we're going on a bike ride again. Okay, yesterday we just had a walk and talk, which was fun. Anyway, made cupcakes with from scratch with my granddaughter. Found a good way to encourage them, to do the chores that, again, you have a bunch of children in a house, things get a little messy, and so, okay, we have to have cleanup time, right? Yes, that's just how you keep everybody happy. And so they have a little allowance. We're doing it with shells. Okay, I'm not going to get into all that. But anyway, found a good way to do that. They're really excited about it. And it's going to be a great summer. All right. So we are in. Let's just get going because I've got to get going. Get some things ready. What a great day we had. Yes. Today, I told the boys yesterday, they're like, "Oh, well, if we help cook, then we're going to get more shells." Then every little shell is 50 cents. I know, right? So little. I go, well, you know what? I got to work with what I got, right? Yes? And they're still happy with just that little encouragement. Yes? Allowance. Work for your allowance. I think that's a good idea. Okay, we are in Nehemiah. I can't remember. The ceremony of expiation 9. On the 24th day, this is going to be, gosh, this is a really long one. Good thing I came out here early. What is that anyway? Looks like some kind of a prayer. Surely it's not a song. On the 24th day of this month, the Israelites in sackcloth and with dust on their heads assembled for a fast. than those of Israelite stock. That sounds like cattle or something. Something irritated me in there while I was cleaning some stuff up. That we got a lot of things down here ready, and we're into Legos. We're getting into Legos, and I gave my grandson. My son has, gosh, buckets and buckets of Legos, and I asked him, I said, hey, can we just, yeah? And he says, yeah, sure, yeah, just take good care of them. So there's tons of Legos. It's like, and we're into it. Anyway, I love it. It's great just to sit there and build things with the kids. It's wonderful. And they do need a little help with those, right? Yes. It's always more fun doing things with mom and dad, grandparents, uncles, aunts. Yes, yeah. All right, keep going. Okay, the stocks, Israelite stock, whatever that means, who had severed relations with all foreigners, stood up and confessed their sins and the iniquities of their ancestors. You know, severing relations with all foreigners does not mean that you send your wives and children away. Your own children, they're yours, right? That's just, you know what? Yeah, whatever. All right. Confess their sins. Yeah. Okay. And the iniquities of their ancestors. Standing each man in his place, they read from the book of the law of Yahweh their God for 1/4 of the day. For another quarter, they confessed their sins and worshipped Yahweh their God. On the Levites' platform stood Yeshua, Binui, Kadmiel, Shebaniah, Bani, Sherebiah, Bani, and Shenani, calling to Yahweh their God in ringing tones. The Levites, Yeshua, Kadmiel, Bani, Hashabaniah, Sherebiah, Yehudiah, Shabaniah, and Petaiah said, stand up and bless Yahweh your God. What is this? Bless Yahweh your God. God is the one who does the blessing, not the other way. What does God? Father, do you have anything to say to that? What does that mean? What are they doing here? I mean, so the answer that I got back is, when people don't understand the equality among people, what mankind actually means to our heavenly parent, they're going to try to find a way to exalt superiority. And in a way to do that with common people is to put oneself on equal footing with our heavenly parent. Yes? Yeah. Is that right? Do children put themselves, while they're still growing, into adults, this and that, even then, should children put themselves on equal footing with their parents? Well, I think that just about in any culture, or any country around the world, on every continent, elders are exactly that, elders. Yes? Many languages, not in English, interestingly enough, that doesn't exist in a sense of that it is spoken out, though understood, surely, as well. Or maybe again, because it's not there per se in words, abused. Yes? Yeah? I'm not sure. Are elderly people more abused in the United States than other places where the language clearly states the respect for someone older? Right? Yes? I know I grew up with two different ways on addressing people. One was for my children, yeah, you used a more familiar form, and of course with, your family, this and that. Also, there was the familiar form, more familiar form, more intimate form of addressing oneself, each other, right? Others. Yeah. And then there was when you didn't know someone that well, especially people older than you address them not by their given name, you address them by their surname. Mr., Mrs., Miss, yes. And there was also the grammar went with that. There was a grammar, see instead of do. Okay, I'm just saying. So there was a whole other, it's like two different grammars going on how to address someone that's close to you, at the same age as you, yes, yeah. And then even as adults, that was also children, and then within the family. And even as adults, if you didn't know someone, just met them, you also used the more formal address, yes? Just because you were the same age didn't mean that you went automatically to the familiar form of addressing each other. You still, until you come to an understanding and the older person offers, oh, hey, let's just, right? You may use the more familiar, let's use that and our given names. You see? Yes? Okay. So, what are the Levites doing here by, oh, let's bless God, right? Yes? They're putting themselves on equal footing with Heavenly Parent. Is that the right thing to do? Maybe other people have a different understanding of this, but that's what I'm seeing going on here. And of course, what will that create again? Okay, just saying. But let's go and see what they're saying. Maybe the translation isn't right, right? Maybe that's just, oh, let's just put it in like this, right? Well, why not just give the proper translation? I mean, one reason that I've been given many, many years ago is that the reason is that things were simplified during all these thousands of years ago, especially also in Jesus' time, because the people just weren't as smart. They couldn't understand. Really? Was that really the case? I wasn't there. I think it's just another excuse. Yes? For all the failures. Yeah? I'm just saying. Blessed are you, Yahweh, our God, from everlasting to everlasting, and blessed be your glorious name, surpassing all blessing and praise. You, Yahweh, are the one, only Yahweh. You have created the heavens, the heaven of heavens and all their array, the earth and all it bears, the seas and all they hold. To all of them you give life, and the array of heaven worships you. So they know Genesis. Otherwise, how would they know this? You see, I'm not wrong. They weren't that dumb at that time. It's just, again, yeah, there's one commandment they were given. Don't go and look on the other side of the fence for better stuff. And then get what? Jealous and then suddenly become a thief or, yes, okay, just saying. You are Yahweh God, who chose Abram. Abram. Oh, there is the old name of Abraham in there. Abram. Oh. How old is this then? Brought him out of Ur in Chaldea, and changed his name to Abraham. Oh, okay. Finding his heart was faithful to you. You made a covenant with him to give the country of the Canaanites, the Hittites, the Amorites, the Perizzites, the Jebusites, and the Girgashites to him and his descendants. I don't believe that. I don't believe that because, again, I can't believe, if I want to believe in an unchanging, all-loving, unchanging, omniscient, and omnipotent God, and I can't, that doesn't sound right. Because then I'd say, oh, well, what kind of God did you guys have all these thousands of years ago? Because that's not the one that I know. The one that I know would never take anything from anyone else. It would be unite together, and then you all will have a place to live together. And no doubt, if at that time, Heavenly Parent chose, God, Yahweh chose, a specific place for the Israelites. There was a reason for that. Oh, the reason was so that the Israelites can pick up arms and fight and all this bloodshed and, you know, and this and that, and then grab the young girls and say, ha ha ha, ha, they're ours now. And I'm just asking. I don't think that's... I think that this is just, again, in the way that this is described in here, is to give again the excuse, well, God said this is going to be all ours, so we have to figure out our own way to do it. Did you? Did they? Or did they just, as I said, suddenly they wanted a king, like everyone else had there? Oh, well, then they would unite, right? Okay, I'm just saying. One could go all, again, was that really, did that have anything to do with Yahweh, their God? I have to almost say their God. I'm not sure where he came from. It's not the God I know. And I know that he existed in the exact same way then as he does now. You see? We got to get away from the excuses and the lies and the, on how God is being represented to all of us. Right? Restore God's reputation. Say, no, when we do what we want to do, freedom of will, freedom to choose, that makes us different from the principles of creation, then he has to turn away and wait till we come to our senses. It's just the way it is. All right. How do I have a lot to say today? Well, it's been, what, a couple of days. And you have made good your promises, for you are upright. Yet they continuously did what? Remind God of the promises that God made to them. Right? Did they keep any of theirs? Just saying. You saw the distress of our ancestors in Egypt. You heard their cry by the Sea of Reeds. You displayed signs and wonders against Pharaoh, against all his servants and all the people of his land. For you knew how arrogantly they treated them. You won a reputation which you keep to this day of being feared. You see? Would Heavenly Parent approve of on how this is in here? Against. Rather than he made a way for us. He really elevated us to, no, it has to be mentioned against whom and why and this and that. It's not written down properly. If whatever happened. Again, it's too, okay. I think that it shouldn't be so difficult to understand me if you have that heart to mind towards Heavenly Parent, and on how often he was just used for, right, almost for the people to keep the anger, the disdain, right, towards their captors, right, rather than, well, now we're going to move forward. And we're going to move forward only obeying, right, Yahweh. But that didn't happen, did it? And you won a reputation which you keep to this day, which is what? I don't know. You opened up the sea in front of them. They walked on dry ground right through the sea, into the depths. You hurled their pursuers like a stone in the raging waters. With a pillar of cloud you led them by day, with a pillar of fire by night, to light the way ahead of them by which they were to go. You came down on Mount Sinai and spoke with them from heaven. You gave them right rules, reliable laws, good statutes, and commandments which they cared. As soon as they had, right on top of the mountain, Moses was still up there, and they built what? A golden calf. Of course, that's not in here. But it was all good. reliable laws, right rules, good statutes, and commandments. They were good. Then why didn't they follow them? Well, I don't know. Through your servant Moses. For their hunger you gave them bread from heaven, which they complained about. For their thirst you brought them water out of a rock, which also they complained about beforehand. And you told them to go in and take possession of the country which you had sworn to give them. Ooh, let's make sure that we know that he swore that, which I do not believe God would swear to anything. Take possession of the country. Okay, all right. But they and our ancestors acted arrogantly. Grew obstinate and flouted your commands. All right, now we're getting somewhere. They refused to obey, forgetful of the wonders which you had worked for them. They grew obstinate and made up their minds to return to their slavery in Egypt. Right, that was an interesting one. Which then again, if you were confronted with these amazing things, right, where, as I said, manna is raining down from heaven, water, knock on a rock, and there comes water, right? The water split, the sea splits, and you get to go through, right? This is all, as I said, Moses was still alive, so most of the Israelites that left Egypt were still there, still knew about all this, and yet, so quickly, forgot everything. Started to go complain and whine and how well they had it in Egypt and right? Still in the same generation. Then I have to wonder if I were present at that time, these kind of things happening, I'd say, hey, you guys better shut up. Now, you don't just forget these kind of things in such a short amount of time. Then you have to, and I have to wonder, how much of it is true? What actually did happen there? Right? Are we really giving the truth here? When it came to how the Israelites left Egypt and this and that, right? I'm just asking. Because that seems to not fit. I remember when I found true parents, okay? Oh, I was like, oh, heck no, no, I heard too bad, cult, this and that, I don't know what, My husband's like, well, that's the only church I will go to. So I said, okay, let's go. I said, okay, I got to give it a try. I'm trying to work together, with my husband. I mean, it wasn't like I didn't find anything like they were killing people and stuff like that, so, or whatever, so we went, and I had to say, wow, this is actually really amazing. Then I went to a 3-day workshop, said, okay, gotta find out really what's going on. I sat there, and I'm going, oh wow, where have you been all my life? There were so many things, so many questions that I had, right? Even as a child growing up, again, with being so in tune with the spirit world, or experiencing these things that eventually I realized, they don't know about this. They have not experienced this stuff. Most people don't experience it like that. So, here in the Divine Principle, suddenly I realized, wow, I've got so many answers now that I can move forward with. And then whatever else went with it. And I stuck with it. There was no, even though there was still, and there is still this, I know what my path is. Oh, following now this, this religion. No, I found the heart of God. I really did. Then I realized that this was the right way to go. Right? For my family, my ancestors, my descendants to work together, right? To be a part of what? Of course, our heavenly parents' lineage. To abdicate. Right? Deliver us from evil. That's why I said to study the Lord's Prayer. What does it actually say? People often don't understand. Lead us not into temptation and deliver us from evil. What does that mean? Become a part of the new lineage. Get the blessing. Yes? And that is done through true parents. Right now it's true mothers still here. Yes, there are others who are blessed. They can give the blessing as well. It counts. In my opinion, it does. From what? I was taught by two parents. Yes. Okay, just saying. That's it. Then you start to restore your family. Doesn't matter what other people are doing. That's what you do. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? Yes. So, yeah, I'm my own person. My family is the stock that I come from. Families. Good, healthy, happy families. Remember, with true love comes true sorrow as well. Yes. And we're so in the beginning stages of all that. But gosh, when I found these answers I've been having questions for so and couldn't find anywhere. It didn't matter. And I wasn't at that time. I grew up Catholic, so I had the Bible. There wasn't all this other stuff that, oh, you know, what is it? The tarot, all these other religions, you know, that also there's good stuff in it. And kind of combined together, you find a common denominator with all the people around the world. One really does. Right? Yes. Of course, you have to abstain from paganism. Got to abstain from all them gods that, you know, never existed. Now, come on now. I'm amazed on how, or astrology, I'm just amazed on how enthralled people are with all this fake stuff. But I guess that makes them feel better. I have no idea. All right, let's keep going. Where am I going with all this? Huh? Oh, look who's coming. Hi. I'm still reading. Yeah. Do you need anything?
I would. Well.
No. You just come? You want to sit and listen to Rosie?
I always just come down to check that.
You check on me. I love you too.
Oh, and look. You left your basement stuff.
Yeah. Didn't clean that up. Well, it's all going to go down the hill again anyway. Set that up for the boys again. All right, let me continue here. But because you are a forgiving God, gracious and compassionate. Yes, honey?
The grass is wet because it rained.
Because it was cold last night, and dew, it's called dew, that's the moisture in the air. And in the morning time, it kind of attaches itself to the grass, and that's what we got out there. I don't think it rained. Yeah. I know. Don't worry, I'll be up there in just a little bit. Oh, so cute. What she really told me is, get going already. We want to play. Gracious and but because you are a forgiving God, gracious and compassionate, patient and rich in faithful love, you did not abandon them. Yeah. See? Yeah. We should also not abuse God, because he has all these qualities. So they knew that, didn't it? But because you are a forgiving God, gracious and compassionate, patient and rich in faithful love, you did not abandon them. Oh, so it was the same God. They just switched. They just make God a little bit into something else when they needed it. Okay, well, see, not wrong. Of course not. Even when they cast themselves a calf out of molten metal and said, "This is your God who brought you up from Egypt," and committed monstrous impieties, you in your great compassion did not abandon them in the desert. The pillar of cloud did not leave them, leading them on their path by day, nor the pillar of fire by night, lighting the way ahead of them by which they were to go. You gave them your good spirit to instruct them. You did not withhold your manna from their mouths. You gave them water for their thirst. For 40 years you cared for them in the desert, so that they went short of nothing. Their clothes did not wear out, nor were their feet swollen. You gave them kingdoms and peoples, allotting them these as frontier lands. They occupied the country of Sihon, king of Heshbon, and the country of Og king of Bashan. You gave them as many children as there are stars in the sky, and brought them into the country which you had promised their ancestors that they would enter and possess. The children entered and took possession of the country, and before them you subdued the country's inhabitants, the Canaanites, whom you put at their mercy with their kings and the peoples of the country, for them to treat as they pleased. Really? They captured fortified towns and a fertile countryside. They took possession of houses stocked with all kinds of goods, of storage, wells ready hewn, of vineyards. Say again. They took possession of houses stocked with all kinds of goods, of storage, wells ready hewn, of vineyards, olive groves, and fruit trees in profusion. Then why did he give that one commandment? Why not just throw them all away? Because that would be, in my opinion, breaking one of the commandments. Oh, that's just between them. I don't think so. So they ate, were full, grew fat, and reveled in your great goodness. But they grew disobedient, rebelled against you, and thrust your law behind their backs. Okay. They slaughtered your prophets who had reproved them to bring them back to you, and committed monstrous impieties. So you put them at the mercy of their enemies, who oppressed them. But when they were being oppressed and called to you, you heard them from heaven, and because of your great compassion, and gave them deliverers who rescued them from their oppressors' clutches. But once at peace again they did what was wrong before you, so you put them at the mercy of their enemies, who then became their rulers. When they called to you again, you heard them from heaven, and because of your compassion, you rescued them many times. You warned them to bring them back to your law, but they became arrogant, did not obey your commandments, and sinned against your rules, in whose observance is life. They turned a stubborn shoulder, were obstinate, and disobeyed. You were patient with them for many years, and warned them by your Spirit through your prophets, but they would not listen. So you put them at the mercy of the people of the country. But because of your great compassion, you did not destroy them completely, nor abandon them. For you are a gracious, compassionate God. You know what? And you know how they are making Heavenly Parent sound as well? Wishy-washy as hell. Huh? Oh, that sounds harsh? Just say. Of course, if you're a parent yourself, you know how that works with children, right? Yes? Of course you. Yeah. Okay, wait a minute. Eventually you're going to, how many times, if the children realize that, okay, well, I just did this. Well, okay, now I got disciplined, one way or the other, and then they're doing it again. Then they get disciplined again. Then they're going to do it again. Then they get disciplined again. Then they're going to do it again. Where is this leading to? Obviously, someone's not learning their lesson. And if they're not learning their lesson and get used to, well, I can do it anyway because the way I'm going to get disciplined is not really all that bad. Or, right, were they not getting this? Right? Yes. It's a bit odd. Again, how is God actually portrayed here? And I don't know. I don't think God had anything to do when they fell back into the enemy's hands. God didn't do that. He didn't. I don't believe that. But it looks to me like that the Israelites did just, God had to step back and say, well, if you're doing this, I have to step back. You're going to be without my protection. Yes? The good luck, karma, whatever, that goes with being guided by whom? I'm just saying. Yes? Sadly, that happens also in people's lives. Right? Then they lose faith. Right? Yes? Then things get so bad. Oh, let's remember. Oh, yeah. Just saying. Now, our God, the great God, the mighty and awe-inspiring one, maintaining the covenant and your faithful love, count as no small thing this misery which has befallen us. See, suddenly, if they recognize, if that's not just lip service, the Israelites should have led a completely different life. That's what I believe. Yes. Oh, yeah, yes, that's good. Sign on the dotted line. So, you're committing. Not really. Yes, didn't get notarized. Just saying. Okay. Guys. Our kings, our princes, our priests, our prophets, and all your people, from the times of the Assyrian kings to the present day, you have been upright in all that has happened to us, for you acted faithfully while we did wrong. Well, when you realize that, you need to change something. Right? What did I say about when I met true parents and the divine principle? Right? Yeah, it was difficult to, but I did. And now, I will not stray from my path of restoration for my family, myself, my ancestors, my descendants. I will not. There's nobody going to change my mind about it. Right? That's where you have to get to. Our kings, our princes, our priests, and our ancestors did not keep your law or pay attention to your commandments and obligations. And that means also you stop making excuses, right, for one's own agenda, which you imposed, not what you want, what you need is important, which you imposed upon them, even in their own kingdom, despite your great goodness which you bestowed on them, despite the wide and fertile country which you had lavished on them. They did not serve you or renounce their evil deeds. There you go. See, we are slaves today, slaves in the country which you gave to our ancestors for them to eat. The good things it produces, its abundant produce goes to the kings whom, for our sins, you have set over us, who rule over our persons and over our cattle as they please. We are in great distress. So the praising and the blessing to God ends up in an accusation, kind of, right? Oh, we understand, we did wrong, but here we are once again. It seems like that that's the end of 9. Up until this point, the Israelites, the ones that were supposed to guide them, which are the Levites, didn't get to the point yet where they had to say, we're going to have to prove ourselves now. And we are going to try our best. First of all, we got to study what was given to us at the time of Moses. Oh, hi, girl. Did Mommy let you out? Which means I got to finish up. Yeah, she's got this color on, so she's not only supposed to go so far. This girl, she's funny. When she goes, oh, I'm not on a leash, she suddenly just takes off. Hi, girl. Oh, good morning. Good morning. And I got to go. All right, we'll talk more. No? May Heavenly Parent bless and protect you and embrace you with love. And I will talk to you all tomorrow.